everyone, and welcome back to another 74 Challenger restoration video. Alright, so as you can see, I've taken a little bit of a step backwards here. I was never really happy with how that wheel housing went in, so I decided to rip it out, and I went out and I purchased some new wheel housings. The one I originally put in there was used. I was just trying to salvage it, but if you'll remember back from the video, I had some fitment issues, and like I said, I was just never really happy with it. So I pulled it out. I had a heck of a time getting it out of there, just the way I had welded it back in. So I had to do a lot of grinding, a lot of cutting, and yeah, it doesn't look very pretty, but that's okay. We're gonna fix things up. Alright, before we start going though, I've got some really exciting news to share with you guys. So a couple of weeks ago, the guys from Eastwood stumbled across my YouTube channel, and after a little back and forth, they decided they wanted to get on board and help me out with this restoration project. So, package arrived in the mail. Check this out, folks. This is their modular LED lighting system. Comes on a tripod. These things are battery operated. Very, very nice looking units. And then also, they threw in this optional accessory too. So this is the under hood mounting option. So what you do is you take your lights off that tripod, you pop them into this carrier here. You can slide them around anywhere you'd like, and then that mounts underneath your hood. So if you're working on your car, your truck, you got some lights just hanging up above, out of the way. It's pretty slick to me. And then they also threw in their rust encapsulation product. So it's kind of like a Pore 15, but it's the Eastwood. So it's 3 times stronger than the original rust encapsulator. So big thanks to Eastwood. If you're looking for any products, check them out. Yeah, those are some real nice lights. Check that out. It's gonna light the area up real nice for me. So big thanks to Eastwood, guys. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys coming on board and helping me get this old 74 Challenger restored. Okay, I really got this area opened up now. So as you can see, I took off that one side bracket that went across there, and I went ahead and cut into the frame rail where it was very rotten. So I'm going to make a little patch for that area there, and then over here, okay, so here's that piece that I just cut out. It's pretty rotten. So I've got a nice piece of heavy gauge metal there. So I'm going to get my cardboard out, make a template, and make 2 patches for that. And then we'll be ready to move on to the wheel housing. Okay, I just finished making the one patch of the frame rail, and I have it all set up there. Just gonna get my welder out in a minute, and we'll patch that up. Then I finished making the other bracket. So this was the old one, and I just kind of straightened it out so I could get the template for the cardboard. And then this is what I ended up with here. So you kind of get the idea. So that's going to fit right up into there once I finish welding that other guy first. Forgot to turn the gas on. Okay, helmet down. And go.
Ready.
I know. Alright, pause. Yeah. Okay, we're back in business.
Okay. Ready.
Put it down. Let's do this.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that was a little funny.
Do it. You just got it like ding, ding, ding.
Okay, helmet down.
Yeah.
Okay. Take the magnet off now. I'm gonna give it a little bit more heat. Alright, got the one patch in. I used a little bit too much heat, so I burnt through a couple spots on the bottom there, so I had to turn the heat down a little bit. Anyway, I'll hit that with the grinder. It should be pretty good. It's good penetration. Alright, clean that up and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, before I go ahead and put this bracket in that I just made, I want to take some of this rust encapsulator that I have and I want to put it on the back side of this bracket. And that way there it'll offer some protection when I weld it in so that the bare metal will have a nice coating on it. So I've already gone ahead and sandblasted this bracket, and over on the frame rail here I went in with my wire brush and I cleaned everything up in there. So that thing is all prepped ready to go. So we're just going to give it a little splash of this stuff and then we'll let it dry overnight and then we'll weld it up tomorrow. Okay, there you go, sweetie. Dip it in. Yeah, not too much. Okay, get that corner there. There you go. Something like that, eh? Okay, that's probably good enough. Just spread it around real good now.
It's looking on that thing.
Okay, just finished getting that patch in. It turned out pretty good. Now you see where I welded, it kind of burns that rust encapsulator a little bit, but at least where the two parts are mating up behind each other, I've got a nice good coating of that stuff, so I don't have to worry about it rotting behind, which is why the frame rail rotted in the first place. Okay, that's done. And now I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is the wheel housing. Okay, let me just run down what I'm thinking here for these mini tubs. So I've gone ahead and I took out the old panels that I took off, so I put the tail panel back in. Okay, so I threw the quarter panel back on. And that thing's lining up pretty good. Got a pretty consistent gap through here still, which is nice. And I went ahead and I threw that wheel housing up in. Alright, so this year one wheel housing fits way better than that other one that I was trying to stuff up in here. So you can take a look and see the gaps are really nice. There's a bit of a gap issue here, but if I get onto that and pull it, I'll be able to pull these two pieces right back together and then weld it up. But everything else is fitting in there real nice. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I've done some measurements on the other side, and I think if I mini tub to about 1.5 inches, I won't have to go ahead, I won't have to cut into my frame rail here. This is a little bit wobbly right now because there's not a lot of stuff kind of holding onto it right now. So I'm going to do a couple more measurements and kind of baseline it off the other side. But what my idea is, once I get this in the right spot, I'm I'm going to take a ruler and a marker, and I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to come out 1.5 inches, and then I'm just going to mark a line all the way up and across, and then I'll come in there with my my cutoff saw, and I'm just going to cut that out. And then what I'll do is I'll split this wheel housing probably right beside the seam here, because I'll be able to cut a nice consistent cut if I'm close to the seam. Use that as a guideline, and then I'll add in a section of the sheet metal that I have over here. I've had this stuff for a long time. Just some sheet metal for bodywork. Got that at Canadian Tire. Anyway, that's the idea. So I'm going to spend a couple more minutes and get this back end set in place, and then I'll mark my line, and then we'll just kind of see where things sit after that. But it's nice to kind of throw the panels on once in a while. Makes me feel a little bit better about myself. You know, actually goes back together. Actually looks like a real car again. Yeah. All right. So I just finished scribing my line, taking the wheel housing out and the quarter panel. So I'm not sure if you'll see it up from there, but I have a line that's scribed all the way down, and then it follows up onto the frame rail. So I'm all set up here. I got my grinder, so I'm just gonna cut right along that line, and that way there I'll be ready for a 1.5 inch mini tub. Just gonna double check it one last time. Yeah, there we go. 1.5 inches. Well, okay, well, I just finished doing a test fit there, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but man, oh man, that turned out pretty nice. Let's check that out. Got that thing stuffed up in there. And it fits half decent up in here. Gonna need to do a little bit of work. Hammer this section, hammer that down a bit. Fits not too bad in there. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, before I do any welding, I'm going to throw that quarter panel on. Double check everything. Yeah, I'll have to do a little bit of filling in the gaps there.
geez, that turned out pretty good. Not too shabby.
Well, I think that's a good stopping point for this episode. So thanks everyone for tuning in to the 74 Challenger restoration video series. Big thank you to all my YouTube subscribers that have been sticking around and waiting so many years for this video to finally come out. So make sure you guys give me a thumbs up for this video, hit the subscribe button down below, and share this with your friends. And if you haven't already, please go check out my Patreon account. Any money I receive from that will go directly back into the 74 Challenger restoration. So thanks so much, folks. Also want to say a big thank you to Eastwood for coming on board with their modular LED lighting system and their rust encapsulation product. I really enjoyed working with their lighting system, and as you probably noticed for this episode, everything was just so much more well lit. These lights are great. You have them up on your tripod. I have one attached down below. They have a nice magnetic base. And then when I was working inside with the wheel housing, I was using that attachment so that I could just clip it right onto the top of this vehicle. So if you're thinking about them, just check out the links in the description below. I have the link for their LED lighting system as well as the rust encapsulation product that I used. Okay, thanks for tuning in everybody, and we'll see you soon.